it's just what's bothering me is that being a celebrity sometimes comes with, like, everybody wants to be successful in a celebrity and stuff like that, but it comes with, you know, sometimes, and, you know, that's the only thing that I hate about it.
Jussie Smollett just stepped into the chat and spilled some major tea about some of the things Bryshere used to tell him while they were still on Empire. And baby, just get a chair for this one because you're about to be shocked. Apparently, Bryshere told Jussie about the multiple freak-offs he was allegedly put through by Diddy and Will Smith. And at some point, he even told Terrence Howard too, but they weren't able to do anything about it because his mama was in on it too, and there was no way she was going to do anything to help him when she was also literally getting paid to have him get bent over by grown men every other night. Mind you, Bryshere was still just 17 at the time, and he was already being passed around the industry for everyone to have their way with him. It's unclear why Jussie kept all this tea to himself, despite the fact that he saw Bryshere Gray breaking down right in front of the world. But Terrence Howard, on the other hand, wasn't so quiet, and he recently said some things that people believe were about Bryshere.
You know, well, when you lose your man card, that's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
No, I'm saying what I'm saying. You don't get that back. You come into this world as a man one time. You give up that right for anything, for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody doing something, for wanting to gain something. When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that has always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Get punked out and out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man.
Now, the thing with Terrence is, even before this interview, he has always made it clear that he doesn't rock with young men having their cheeks busted through just to make it in the industry. During an interview he had prior to the one I just played for y'all, he said, and I quote, "With the new formula, most men are made to be effeminate and not have their power or sense of strength. They allow white men to be strong, but not when it's black men." You know, he continued, "I don't want to remove a few chromosomes to fit in someone's story. So I feel they need to expand their stories to allow men to be men and simultaneously appreciate a woman's beauty." At the time, people didn't know Bryshere's story, so they didn't piece things together. But baby, once folks got the tea about what was being done to Bryshere, they pieced it all together, and they've been dragging his mama and his dodgy ex-manager Charlie Mack for watching him get used and tossed out the industry like this. You see, Bryshere was introduced to Diddy and Will Smith by Charlie Mack for a supposed mentorship, but that mentorship never happened. The arrangement was for Diddy to mentor him in his music career while Will helped him with his acting career. But according to Jaguar, freak-offs were the only thing happening.
They're both bisexual, they do weird things in their house, and young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their mentorship. Meek Mills, Bryshere Gray, left that house screaming. August the only one that stayed, and I guess he was really sick. He needed a dog.
After Empire ended, Bryshere's career ended right with it. He was arrested many times, with the latest being in 2022 for aggravated assault against his girlfriend. Prior to this, he had already been arrested in 2020 after his wife had gone there asking for help at a nearby gas station because he put his hands on her so badly that she lost consciousness. When the police pulled up to his house to arrest him, he refused to come out of the house. It took hours of negotiations between the SWAT team and Bryshere to get him to come out of the house. When his mugshots were released, people couldn't help but point out how different he looked. This was when people started to piece everything together and realized how much damage the industry ad caused to him. The last person anyone was expecting to be part of any of this was Bryshere's mama, Andrea, but Jaguar claims that Andrea was actually the one who sold him to Diddy and Will. It turns out Charlie Mack was just a middleman who made sure that Bryshere was making himself available for the freak-offs whenever either men wanted it. And in the case where one of Diddy and Will's associates also wanted to crack Bryshere would make himself available for that as well, no questions asked. Jaguar claims Andrea also wanted to use Bryshere's trauma as content for a book that she was working on. She knew that if Bryshere went through the things he went through, it would be a sad story that people would want to hear about from the mother's perspective.
I'ma kick you in your and I'ma go to work North Philly style. And Charlie, you happy now? He's a gay star. Are you happy now, Andy? For a book that didn't sell? I hope that new husband of yours leaves you. And maybe it's time you tell your son why his father is really in jail, his biological father, for all of his life and what you had to do with it. You CI.
Do you feel this is...
That came to me and begged me for my help. I told her to get the away from Charlie. I did everything that I could do to get Bryshere, to help her get Bryshere out of California into Chicago safe, to be ready for filming. She knew what Will did to him.
Jaguar also exposed Andrea for allegedly coming to her in tears, practically begging for help with Bryshere because the freak-offs were beginning to mess him up. Jaguar said she straight up told her, "Girl, you need to get Bryshere away from Charlie Mack. Andrea didn't do a damn thing."
Do you feel this is...
That came to me and begged me for my help. I told her to get the away from Charlie. I did everything that I could do to get Bryshere, to help her get Bryshere out of California into Chicago safe, to be ready for filming. She knew what Will did to him. But because of Charlie, see? And Charlie had promised her all kinds of things. And all she had to do was pretend to be a broken down single mom who worked her way up through the ghetto and raised a superstar for television, when the truth is, she wasn't nothing but a dealer's. That's all she ever was. She went from dealer to dealer, and then she snitched on whoever she needed to snitch on until she could get to the bigger bag, until she got with Larry Lair, my friend who raised Bryshere in $1 million home. Your whole book is lies, Andy, and I hope anybody that bought it asks for a refund and demands it comes out of your pocket every time they see your son's gay. You and Charlie Mack.
Now, as y'all already know, Bryshere's been out here on OnlyFans doing the absolute most. I mean, he has been selling everything, including some wild group scenes and videos of him getting pipped. But here's the thing, though. Jaguar claims his OF career was presented to him after they blackballed him, and that they did that so that when he finally does come out to expose them, no one will take him seriously. Basically, it's the same old Hollywood trick. Label the victim as mentally unwell so the real story gets buried.
Honestly, him out so he'll feel too embarrassed to file his lawsuit against Diddy for what Will and Diddy did to him. With Jaden and Justin present, that tape exists.
Okay.
I really hope none of that baby oil was used on those kids. That would just be in bad taste. Baby oil on babies.
You can't say that the flavor camp was sponsored by Johnson & Johnson. You just come on. Come on.
Starting to sound that way, ain't it?
No.
All that talent, and she let Charlie tune that boy up on, knowing that he was bipolar and had ADHD. What kind of mother would do that to her son? Turn him into a prostitute so you could pretend to be something more than what you are, which is nothing more than a filth. You're a big old than they're making your son out to be, that's for sure. Because he didn't have no choice. You was down by all. I'm sorry. The Bryshere conversation for me is not easy. Because I came to Belial and I asked Belial to help me save the kids, and all he was worried about was his book.
And for those of y'all wondering what lawsuit Jaguar was talking about, well, a few months ago, shortly before Bryshere launched his OF career, there was news going around about him allegedly preparing to file a $50 million lawsuit against Diddy. This was revealed by an elbow-lined item who said, "I suspect the soon-to-step-forward male victim of by this A-list mogul will not be the last man to do so, Sean Diddy Combs. Now, even though Bryshere is the only one responsible for his actions and his rapid decline in Hollywood, most people also speculate that he was probably acting out because of the trauma he went through. And it looks like Jussie is one of those people. Jussie might have his own mess going on himself, but as they say, a broken clock is right twice a day, and this is one of those times when you have to adjust his right. If the allegations Jaguar made about Bryshere's mama were true, and we really can't blame Jussie and Terrence for not being able to help Bryshere, there really isn't much they can do when his own mama doesn't care enough to protect him. Allegedly, of course. As usual, people had their own thoughts, and they didn't hold back from dragging Andrea and Charlie Dusty Mack. One person said, Diddy and Will, along with Bryshere Gray's mother, Andrea needs to be under the prison and do what was done to this young man. Another person said, I hate that his cast members on Empire didn't try to step in to shield him from Diddy. Terrence Howard shaming him for losing his man card when he knew all along that Diddy was a predator. It says a lot about his character. But now I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about Jussie speaking out about Bryshere's situation? And do y'all believe his mama and Charlie were behind it all? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to click here to watch this other messy video.